I want to call to order the meeting of the Public Safety Committee for Rutherford County for January 2024, the first of the new year. Good to see each and every one of you here this fall spring night, and glad to have you and glad that you made it through our storm of 2024 for January, and glad to see you here this evening. We'll begin with approval of our minutes from our Vice Chairman. Vice Chairman.
Like Chairman Reed, I've reviewed the meetings of last month, find everything to be in order. Move for their approval as mailed.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second right here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, our minutes have been approved. We do have a quorum. I did receive word from Commissioner Oliver that she would be unable to attend. She was returning back from a trip out in Texas, so she is, I just got word right here that she'll be watching online with us, so that's fine. Item 2, public comments. We have not received anyone calling, asking to make public comments at this time, so we'll move now into item 3, Forensic Center. And at this time, I'll ask their mayor, Mayor Carr, to come forward at this time. Good evening, Mayor. You're on.
Now I'm on. I'm going to ask Denise Martin to come up if that's okay, with permission. So the reason I'm here is I want to begin the process. As this committee knows, the County Commission funded $900,000 in this budget cycle for engineering and architectural work on a proposed forensic center in Smyrna off Weekly Lane. And as what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a little bit different tack as it relates to moving forward. Those architectural and engineering designs are being done by Bart Klein, as you know, that was approved. And so Denise and Klein & Associates are currently in the programming stage of that facility. What I would like to do with the permission of this committee, and I will also be, Denise and I will be working with facilities and health and ed as well, is on a monthly basis bring you the progress reports as it relates to the design and architectural drawings of that facility. And the point of that being to keep you fully informed as to what our goal is, and the goal is the construction of that facility. And I'll be quite honest and transparent. The goal is to put it in the next budget cycle. I have talked to Michael Smith about the budgeting of that particular facility, and we have several options on the table for the funding of that facility that will not negatively or adversely impact our budget. Okay, so I want to make that very, very clear. Also, we want to talk to you at the appropriate time about the operational costs of that facility and the costs associated currently with doing, 350, 365 autopsies a year. There have been some changes in that regard since I last spoke to you and since Denise did a report to you. We have received another notice for an increase in autopsies from Forensic Medical. That goes into effect February 1. As you know, last year we got an increase of $2,100 to $2,300, I believe. Isn't that right, Denise? And we just received another notice for an increase from $2,300 to $2,500 per autopsy. We also have received information that the Shelby County facility that was currently doing 12 counties, including Shelby County, has sent a notice out to 9 counties that they will no longer service those particular 9 counties in West Tennessee, and those now 9 counties are moving their autopsies to Davidson County, putting additional stress and burden that we have to share with them. So Rutherford County, being the, if not the 4th largest, soon to be 4th largest county in the state, is in a particularly vulnerable situation. It is the goal of the Office of the Mayor, and I'm sure the County Commission, for this facility to have the least financial impact on the community that we possibly can. I believe we can get this revenue neutral or pretty close. just looking at the forensic centers from like Hamilton County, Knox County, what their budgets look like, their caseload, the number of employees we have, we think we can do this pretty close to a break even on an operational basis. Back to the facility itself. I have talked to the cities of Murfreesboro and Smyrna, and we are talking currently about how they can partner with the county on the construction costs. And that was a result of a December 20th meeting I had with Governor Lee, which specifically was going to ask for state help. As you'll recall, we've been trying to solicit the help of the state, and we hadn't had any luck through the FSAG committee this time last year. Well, it was June and July of this past year. I have, sadly to say, the governor offered no support, no help, and no financing for our efforts. However, that doesn't alleviate us of the responsibility to provide this critical service to our community. And as I said earlier, Michael Smith and I are working diligently, and we have to find as many options as we can for the funding of the construction of this facility. And I think you're going to be pleased with some of the options that we'll present to you, because we will do so without any stress or negative impact to our current budget or any future budgets. So I want to just kind of toss it back to you gentlemen, if I may. As we roll forward, I've asked the chairman if we could be a part of the public safety calendar from now for the next 3 or 4 months before we come to a vote. This is the body, this is the committee that will vote for a recommendation to send a budget, even though we'll be in health and ed and we'll be in facilities. Property management, thank you, Commissioner. Property management, this is the committee that makes the vote for a recommendation to send a budget. And so what I want to make sure is that we're answering your questions. And we may not have all your answers on any given night, but if you'll, through the course of the month, send those questions to my office, Denise and I will put the answers together, and then we can come back at that next meeting, and then we can continue this conversation and dialogue about why I think this is a very critical part of our county and the growth needs that we need to meet. Denise, would you like to add something? I will be glad to entertain questions, Mr. Chairman, if that's appropriate.
That is. Commissioners, you have any questions for the mayor?
I must have done a really good job, Mr.
You
Chairman.
either did a good job or confused them real well. I don't know which you did.
Thank you very much. And again, please reach out to me if you have questions. It's our intent to be transparent and open in this process. It's an important request, and it's a request I think that we all need to have a hand in. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, go to item 4, OSHA report. Ed Elam, Mr. Elam. Good evening, sir.
The month of December, in the OSHA report, you'll see there was a total of 14 incidences. For the year to date, 231. For the total recordable, 171. Lost day claims, 33. Restricted day claims, 108. Other recordables, 30. On the job injury claims, we have year-to-date 2021, 174, 2022, 181, 2023, 231. On the job injury occurred dollars, you'll see $790,000 for 2023. The last page, cause of injuries, you had Board of Ed had 9, County General had 4, Highway had 1, and in the County General, Sheriff's Department had 3, EMS had 1. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Questions, Commissioner?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Second. Commissioner James. All those in favor say aye. Report has been approved.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you, sir. Recovery Court. Director Lachelle Ricks, good evening.
Good evening. The report for Recovery Court for the month of December, we had 168 participants, 7 were new, 9 graduated, and 1 was terminated. In our drug court, we have 39 participants, 23 are in the application process, and 11 have been assessed. In our DUI court, the day program, we have 31, and the night we have 30. In our application process, we have 34, and 4 have been assessed. We just opened our DUI court back up off a waiting list, and we have about 32 people waiting on that were waiting on that list. Mental health court, we have 53 in the program, 20 in our application process, and 14 have been assessed. And in our veterans court, we have 15, 12 in our application process. And that concludes my report.
Commissioners, any questions, any comments? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. And we have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, your report has been approved. Thank you. Probation report. Hello.
For the month of December, we closed out a total of 133 cases, which were 109 people in probation. For the month, we actively supervised 1,338 cases. In our various programs and classes that you can see listed, we had a total of 82 participants for the month. 19 of those successfully completed during the month, and 4 were discharged unsuccessfully. With our olive branch ministry, either with assistance with food or clothing or toiletries, we were able to help a total of 8 clients in our office. With our 10 Rocks program with Judge Bennett, we currently have 22 participants. There are 2 referrals in pending a court date. With our difference in revenue and expenditures for the month of December, we had $123,463.61. For the month of December, we sent $18,408 to the clerks for payment plans, which brought that fiscal year total to $96,431. Of the cases that we closed in December, there was $3,088 that we weren't able to send, which brought that fiscal year total to $29,303.95. And for the month of December, our office supervised 10 clients that the court had deemed indigent in court. And that would be my report for December.
Any questions or comments for Ms. Haley?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The report has been approved. And this is Kelly Haley.
Yes, sir.
I did not introduce you, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Glad to have you tonight. All right, item 7, Correction Work Center report. Superintendent William Cope. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. First in your package, you'll see our Work Center Board meeting minutes from January 8th. And our statistics on our work release program, that's still going very well. Yearly activity report, our population is staying about the same. It's down just a little bit, which is a good and bad thing. Good that our recidivism rates go down when our population goes down, but so does our work. Next, you'll see total trash collected, county roads, county trash, we collected 4,100 pounds, and then 779 bags collected on state routes. And the December monthly worker report shows a total combined savings of $75,864 using offender labor. I'd like to give a couple of shout outs before I finish up here. One is to our maintenance department and Rob Shue for coming in and keeping our building warm and with hot water in these cold days. And then also like to thank our staff publicly for everybody coming in and you know, regardless of what the weather was, we didn't have any call outs during that whole week. And so just like to thank them. But that is the end of my report.
Okay. Commissioners, questions, comments? Motion?
Move to approve.
A motion to approve. Second, Commissioner James. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Report has been approved.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Item 8, Juvenile Detention Report. Director Lynn Duke. Evening. I believe you have some contracts to approve in this report, too.
Excuse me. With your information tonight, the monthly information for December. I would like to pass along that Robertson County, we received their check today. We're still waiting on Fayette, Montgomery, and Wilson County, but we don't expect that there's an issue with that. Maybe just perhaps that the mail wasn't running quite as fast as it usually does due to the weather. We also have the notes from the minutes from our board meeting for December as well. The other thing I'd like to point out is on the STD report, although we did test 11 young people this month, everybody came back clean, and we really like that. And additionally, there's the information for education, and after the report, I do have a couple of contracts to discuss.
Right, we'll get approval on the report, and then we'll deal with the contracts. Any questions on the report, commissioners, or any comments on the report?
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, the report has been approved, and I believe you have contracts with DeKalb, Houston, and Montgomery counties, correct?
Yes, so this is the first lot that has been returned. If you'll recall, a couple months ago, we discussed that the board decided, along with the approval from the county attorney, to rewrite our contracts and to increase our daily rate from $175 to $200 per day per juvenile detained. These will go into effect in July with the new fiscal year. I sent out the information to the counties so that they would know it, so that they could prepare their upcoming fiscal year budgets accordingly, and I'm beginning to get them back now. We also sent out, in addition to the counties that we currently contract with, we're going to be sending out contract information to counties that aren't contracting with us, just because as a matter of policy for counties, sometimes they have young folks that they can't get into the closest facility, or they may want to split up co-defendants, et cetera. So we're going to send those out, and we may be getting some from counties that we're not currently in contract with. But these are the ones that we've received so far. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, as I mentioned, I think we have DeKalb, Houston, and Montgomery. We can take these, I think, as probably all three of them together, or we can take them individually. What do you think, commissioners? They're all the same contract, but we just mentioned the fact that we are all three names.
Move to approve all three in one vote.
Okay, we have a motion to approve all three. Have a second.
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Secretary, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to, if I may, publicly thank the Correctional Work Center, their residents, as well as some of their staff members came out before the maintenance crews got there and took care of our sidewalks for us, our public entrance and our employee entrance, and we really appreciated that, as well as maintenance, who had to come out a couple of times regarding our boiler. So I'd just like to say that there are a lot of hardworking people that came in during the snowpocalypse of 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we could say thank you to anybody within public safety this past week. A lot of shout outs to everybody that's been involved in what we've gone through this past week, and our first responders and what they had to deal with, and just anybody that's had to deal with this type of weather and to show up and be involved in that. We certainly do appreciate everybody and what we're going there. So we'll move now into emergency services, public safety report. Director Chris Clark. Director.
Chairman, committee. Our report is from December the 16th to January 16th of the new year. A couple of items that I'd like to point out is one of the things we're doing here at EMA is we were provided what we call a technology toolbox, and that training is occurring this last month and will continue into February. But what that is a deployable mapping system that we can deploy into the field, make grids, things like that, and then we're all connected, and it goes to our responders' phones. We're able to track them and also be able to make sure that those grids were completed. Also, we have a thing called TAC, which will identify each individual by their cell phone. So with law enforcement, you wouldn't have officer on officer, things like that. And then last but not least, Survey 123. And what that does is provide a pinpoint assessment during damage assessments, road closures, things like that. We can enter that information into that program, and it will provide a current situational report. Also, we've been doing a lot of incident command system training in ICS 300 and 400 for our commanders. And then on our radio system, we're working closely with Bedford County. Bedford County is trying to get onto a system similar to us, being our neighbors. We're working hand in hand with them to get them up. They're going with the state program, however, they kind of overlap. Also, with our radio system, we're adding new firmware. Just as any computer, you have to upgrade those systems, and we're currently in that process of making sure that our radios will receive that firmware. As far as our dispatch center, we hired a full-time employee. That was an open position. His name is Joshua Nicholas. And then also we've been working with some schools, I think along with the Sheriff's Department, also in trying to create some curriculum within the high schools so that whenever they graduate, they can walk right into a dispatch office for the Sheriff's Department or any public safety. So we continue that process to make that available for the students. Then I guess last but not least, I've added in this year's 2003, or last year's 2003 calendar review, and all the incidents that we have put on the board as far as coordination, resources, things like that help with coordination and that process. And then we've also added our field responses for 2023, and there's a variety of types of responses. And then last but not least, our snow event that just occurred. It's pretty amazing to see behind the scenes what goes on, and people helping people, departments helping departments, agencies and governments helping governments. It's been a kind of a long week for all our public safety, and we're very grateful to have them in place. So anything from homeless to Plan Bs for our citizens in the event that we lost power. A lot of planning that went on with this, and we're grateful to have all these partners out there. That's
Okay, sir. Commissioners? Comments or questions?
I have a quick question. How long does it take to replenish the salt that we use for these events? Is it like within a week or a couple weeks, or do you know? It's just a random question.
replenishing of salt. I've spoke to Greg Brooks, and I think that's probably a Greg Brooks question. I did ask the same thing in the event that we had back-to-back snow. He had spoken to me, and I don't want to take words out of his mouth. In the past, they can replenish pretty quickly. That may have changed in a week, because we had that conversation. How quick can we replenish?
Anyone else?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second. Favor, say aye. Those opposed? Report has been approved, but we do appreciate that. Appreciate the phone calls you gave me and kept me updated on what's going on. Checked on me to see if I was doing okay out that way, but I'd have to say I did get out and looked at some things and around.
Being where you live, way out in Rockville, those areas.
I heard a lot of different things.
Hard.
I heard a lot of different things and what's going on out there, but that's why I drive that truck I drive. So that's part of it. But that's this was a different snow event. I've had a lot of people ask about that and why the roads do this and why that does it. This was a different event. This was what you call a major event.
My phone started ringing about 5 o'clock Saturday night, and it didn't stop. So, but luckily we have great family support at home, because that's what happened.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, emergency medical service. Director Brian Gaither.
Month of December, we had 3,431 911 calls, 20 hospital transfers, for a total of 3,451. Response time of 7 minutes and 1 second. We had 173 DOAs for the month. 27 of those were sent for autopsies at a total cost of $67,500. Year-to-date autopsies are 153 at a total cost of $382,500. We collected $898,232 for the month of December. The bottom of that page is the mileage driven and the maintenance cost, some community relation events. The convalescent division did 405 calls. They collected $93,864. One thank you note, and then the more detailed monthly report on the next few pages. We've still a work in progress, but I think we've cleaned it up a little bit. Draw attention to is the calls that were Murfreesboro units had to respond to Smyrna, and that was a total of 53 for the month. And then at the end of that is a total, I went calendar year, for a total of 46,028 calls, and then all those other breakdowns in there. That's my report.
Questions? I do like the way you are breaking this down, Director.
I won't take any credit for that. That's Keith Powell in our office. He's the data guru. And I mentioned what I'd like to see, and it magically appears to me in a day or so.
Say it was magic, but that takes a lot of work to get all this put together. But I do like that. It gives us, especially that total for the year of 46,000 calls. That's a lot of runs. Y'all out there all the time. Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Second. Commissioner McMurray, further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
I did want to bring up one other thing. During the last week with the snow, from 12 a.m. Monday until 12 a.m. Sunday, we did a total of 854 calls. You know, our response time's been hanging out around 7 minutes or a little over. It increased to 8 minutes and 23 seconds, which in the grand scheme of things, a minute and 23 seconds with what was on the road is, I thought was pretty phenomenal. The crews, some of these guys, they came in the day before, they spent the night at the station. Even our convalescent division, some of those guys, they didn't go home, they came in, they slept at the station. We only had 2 people call out saying they couldn't get here, so they made great efforts to make sure that they were here to provide the service. And we have a lot of people that work for us that they don't live around the corner. They drive a pretty good ways to get here. And we made it through all of that without tearing up anything, I just wanted to give them a shout out for their hard work this last week. So thank you.
Thank you. And that is appreciated. That's amazing, really. You only increased your response time by that much. It sure is. My response time going out and walking the dog increased more than that, so pretty good. Item 11, Fire Rescue Report. Barry Farley.
Chairman, for the month of December, this will be for the total 12 months of the year. For the month of December, we ran 773 calls. Year to date, we ran 8,004 calls. That was over 4,000 medical calls and 908 MVAs with 14 entrapments. 33 entrapments. I was looking at the wrong line item. Total call volume countywide, we had 103 structure fires, 219 brush fires, 271 illegal burns, 101 vehicle fires, 62 hazmats, 7 water rescues, and I look for that to go up this week with the flooding we're going to be having with all this rain. 1,428 MVAs with 33 extrications. For a total of countywide 4,155 calls of medical, and for a grand total of 9,731 calls for service. And just to remind you, back in 2010, when we first started this journey, it was 1,300 calls that first year. So it's increased quite a bit since that. Here's the structure fire reports that we turn into the codes department. Next is our Division of Fire Prevention and Fire Marshal's report. We installed 3 alarm installations, and for the total year, we installed 96 fire alarms. And we have plenty more to install if anybody needs them. The Rutherford County Fire Marshal's year-end summary, there was 102 investigation cases opened. There were 11 arrests made, including citation in lieu of arrest. Cost recovery from arson convicted plea was $9,550.10. Permits issued was 45. Permit fees collected was $10,250. Last page is our illegal burn list. Questions? That concludes my report, and I have 2 budget amendments.
Commissioners, Commissioner James.
Sorry, I'm not seeing it readily available. What were the number of calls last month that you had?
Last month, for the month of December, 773. On the first page of that report.
Got a discrepancy on some of the numbers, but I need to do some more research on my own before I think, because I think it might be an error on my part from where I'm looking at something wrong. So, but you said 773, and I see it now. I see where it is now. Okay. Move to approve the report.
Motion to approve. Have a second. Have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Report is approved. We have 2 amendments. You want to begin with the first one?
First budget amendment is to recognize insurance recovery revenue for 2 vehicles that were totaled and appropriated the funds for replacing those 2 vehicles. $5,766 from insurance.
No, we'll take them separately. First budget amendment. Do you see it, gentlemen?
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second.
Next budget amendment is to...
Well, let's do this one. Let's do this. We got to vote on it. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, next one.
Next one is to recognize revenue for restitution from arson cases and appropriate the funds. Taking $777.04 and appropriating into data processing services, $2,999 into custodial supplies, $2,877 into processing equipment.
Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Commissioner
Second.
James. Second. Commissioner McMurray. Further discussion? Roll.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I think that concludes it. Thank you, sir. Item 12, Sheriff's Office Report. Chief? Chief Spence? I believe you have 4 budget amendments tonight also.
Yes, sir. Tonight, our inmate population is 834. During the bad weather this week and this weekend, we received 200 weather-related calls for service. 136 of those was motor's assist, 51 non-injury accidents, and 15 accidents with injuries. That's the end of my report.
How many accidents you said and how many injuries?
51 non-injury and 15 with injuries.
Move to approve the report.
Motion to approve the report. Have a second. Have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, report has been approved.
First Amendment is to recognize revenue from a weapons trade of seized and surplus weapons. We're asking to put $14,501 into our law enforcement equipment line item.
Motion to approve. Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
This amendment is to recognize revenue from insurance recovery on 3 total vehicles and a call box damage, asking to put $1,422 into our maintenance repair of office equipment and $34,782 in motor vehicle line item.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Commissioner McMurray. Second. Commissioner Beverly. Discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly, Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
This amendment is to recognize revenue from other charges for services we receive on vehicle fees when we work off-duty events, requesting to put $23,668 into our motor vehicle line item.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Sereno. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Excuse me, Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
This amendment is a drug fund amendment. This amendment is to move money from the proceeds from confiscated property to maintenance of vehicles and repair and data processing equipment. Requesting to put $50,000 into the maintenance vehicle repair and $50,000 in the data processing equipment.
Commissioners?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Commissioner Beverly.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Rather. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I believe that's got you. I believe you got a question.
I have a question to follow up with. I was coming in from my unit and had a phone call that I'm trying to follow up on and figure out what my best approach is, try to help this person out. Not to get too technical on the addresses right now. It appears that the back of one property's line is where the county line is and the town of Smyrna meets. And they are having target practice and shooting out of their yard, and it's actually leaving, I guess they're not experts because it's missing the target a few times, and it's leaving the back of their property and entering into this new subdivision over there and actually hitting their houses.
Yes, sir.
They've called a couple times, I'm under the understanding of, but when they call me, I'm not sure where to direct them and how to, other than to refer to you. They live in the town of Smyrna, the ones who are getting, the property is getting hit with, and they're contacting Smyrna, who's telling them to also contact you guys as well.
Yes, sir.
What would you recommend be the best course of action for me to follow up with these individuals on, to make sure that they have that, they feel safe in their own backyard?
Ms. Hill from the mayor's office had forwarded Chief Lowry an email today, reference to this. I just found out earlier, and we're currently looking into that. But they need to call both agencies, but we are looking into it and seeing what the details of the where they're shooting, how they're shooting, and so forth.
So it is as it feels. It's kind of because of the jurisdictional line. It is that kind of back and forth that
Yes,
they're going to have to go through. Okay. What kind of thing can we do to help? I don't know. I guess maybe speed up the process or find out, is there any kind of length of process? I'd hate for an injury to occur while they're trying to navigate the back and forth. What else can we do?
Got to make sure we look through it thoroughly, so we can't rush it, look into it and get the details, and they will reach out to the victim, which the house is that was shot, and then follow up with them.
I'll pass this information on to them, and then I may have some follow-up questions to, I guess I'll just contact the sheriff's office with whatever they kind of shoot back with me, and it kind of hit me by surprise as I was rushing in the courthouse tonight. So just wanted to quickly ask a quick question for a point of direction. I appreciate it.
And please have them call the detective divisions too if they want to follow up. They can call and talk to them also.
Can you follow up with me and give me the information so when I call back I can give them kind of what, just that like that? I'll write it down, but I need to, contact number, whatever, et cetera, to have just so they quick and readily available. And I'll get that with you.
Yes, sir. I
before
sure
we
will.
leave.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. PAWS? Michael Gregory.
You'll see that we had 303 animals that came into the shelter during the month of December. We had 323 that left. Our euthanasia rate was 7.1% for the month. Live release rate for dogs was 87.4 and cats was 96.8. Our officers completed out 1,041 calls for the month, traveling 7,335 miles. Fiscal year to date, 2,366 animals into the shelter, a euthanasia rate of 5.3%, and a live release rate of 92.2. Officers completed out a little over 7,300 calls, traveling 51,397 miles. For December's rabies exposure and bite report, we had 24 bites that were reported. One of those was sent for testing. It came back negative. We had 2 other exposures. Neither of those were sent for testing. The rabies and bite report goes by calendar year, so that finishes out 2023. We did have 2 positives during that calendar year. Last page of your report is just the graph that I give you so you can visually see the incomes and outcomes of the shelter. That's my report.
Questions or comments for the director?
Just on the annual course for the rabies, year over year, is a trend going up, going down, kind of staying the same?
Much stays about the same. There, you may see 4, 5, or 6 at one year and then back down the other, but across the state, it seems to be remaining fairly level. Sometimes we would see, I could think probably within the past 5 years, and I think Commissioner Reed could probably back this up because he kept saying the Rockville skunks. We saw, I think, 4 or 5 1 year in Rockville zone as far as rabid skunks, but it just varies a lot. No rhyme or reason.
That rabid skunk moved to Smyrna, I think, this time, didn't he? He's down that way.
It wouldn't have been the same one, but potentially one that it was exposed to. But and that was a bat for Smyrna, so it varies a lot.
I'd also like just to specifically recognize the individuals you had that showed up to tend to the animals when
Yes,
the offices were closed in the ice. They were, the animals don't realize that the offices might close for a day or two, but they just want to make sure they get some recognition for that.
Yes, our kennel staff worked very hard last week. Our ACO staff too, the ones that were out there on the roads and whatnot. We did have one truck that got off the road, but overall, with the miles that they traveled, they did a very good job of maintaining safety.
Move to approve.
To approve. Have a second. Commissioner Radler. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Has been approved. Thank you, sir. That's all of our reports. Any other business? If not, we are adjourned.